hold on to your carriers, because things are going to be changing real fast. If you're a manufacturer shipping freight today and you assume capacity will always be there when you need it, this video is for you. On the surface, trucking looks stable, trucks are still showing up, rates look reasonable, freight is moving, but underneath that, something important is happening, and most manufacturers don't even see it coming until it's too late. Capacity doesn't disappear overnight, it erodes quietly. Fleets close, others shrink, drivers leave, financing tightens, and relationships get tested. By the time shippers realize that they have a problem, they're already competing for trucks that no longer exist. Now, manufacturers, make sure you stay till the end of this video, because I'm going to break down exactly how carriers decide who gets trucks when capacity tightens, and what manufacturing companies can do right now in order to protect those relationships. This isn't just theory, this is how carriers are actually making decisions behind closed doors. So let's get into it. Part 1. Large number of fleets have shut down. Over the past year, thousands of trucking companies have exited the market. Some of those closures made the news, and I report on them. Large fleets, high-profile bankruptcies, names everybody recognizes. Those stories grab headlines and make it feel like we understand what's happening. But the reality is very different. For every one trucking company closure you hear about on the news, there are many more that shut down quietly, without press releases, court filings, or industry articles written about them. Small and mid-sized fleets don't announce their exit. They park their trucks, they sell their equipment, and they stop answering the phones. And these were often the exact carriers the manufacturers relied on for regional coverage. Short notice, flexibility, and surge volumes. Once a carrier shuts down, it doesn't restart when the market improves. The trucks are sold, the drivers move on, and that capacity is permanently removed from the system. Number 2, even active fleets are reducing capacity. What's just as important as closures is what the surviving fleets are doing. And many trucking companies that are still operating have made a deliberate decision to reduce capacity, especially over the last year. They're parking trucks, they're running lean, they're pausing all expansion plans. This isn't because they don't have freight, it's because growing right now, carriers see as risk. So from the outside, capacity looks available, but inside those fleets, there are fewer trucks and far less flexibility. That hidden reduction doesn't show up until there's a surge in demand. And when that happens, tenders get rejected, lead times stretch, and manufacturers are left scrambling for trucks. Now, number 3, fleets that are built on foreign driving programs. Now, there's a structural shift that many manufacturers don't see. For years, a large number of trucking fleets in both Canada and the United States are built on growth models around foreign drivers. Those fleets relied on systems that allowed foreign workers to enter the country, obtain a Class 1 license, and be placed into long-haul driving roles under the Driver Inc. model. Because of this, many carriers were able to grow exponentially, adding trucks, expanding lanes, and scaling faster than domestic driver supply alone would allow. That model worked until recently. Both Canada and the US have now cracked down on these pathways or made them significantly harder. The result is fewer foreign drivers entering the system, longer approvals and licensing timelines, higher ejection rates, and increased enforcements. For fleets that depended on this pipeline, growth has stalled and in many cases reversed. Some carriers have been forced to park trucks, reduce fleet size, and abandon expansion plans entirely because they're afraid of the system. This isn't a short-term disruption, it's a reset of how trucking capacity was being created. Now, the entire financial system is stepping away from trucking over the last 18 months. This is especially important for both Canadian and US manufacturing plants to understand. Over the last 18 months, the banks have increasingly viewed transportation as an unstable and high-risk sector. As a result, many lenders are stepping away from the trucking space altogether. They're reducing exposure, tightening lending criteria, declining new trucking clients, and rejecting fleet expansions, even for established carriers. For trucking companies, this means equipment replacements are delayed, growth plans are canceled, and trucks that go down stay down longer. Even healthy fleets are being forced to operate more conservatively, not because they want to, but because access to capital has been restricted and is a lot more expensive. When banks step away from an industry, capacity doesn't rebound quickly. Once it's gone, it takes years to rebuild. And the last point we're going to touch on is carrier loyalty is no longer there. This is where manufacturing companies need to pay very close attention. Carriers today are far more selective about who they work with. They remember long detention times, they remember pay delays, they remember difficult facilities, and they remember how they were treated when the market was soft. They also remember when they lost the lane they were servicing because someone undercut their rate. And I can speak from experience that this does happen. From a carrier's perspective, this isn't just a pricing decision, it's a signal. It tells them loyalty isn't valued, volume isn't secure, they're easily replaceable. So when capacity tightens, these carriers will not be coming back. When the market flips, carriers won't chase the highest rate. They'll choose the shippers that are easiest to work with, pay fairly, and didn't drop them the moment the cheaper options appeared. Rate is temporary, relationships are long-term. So when the market flips, it's going to flip fast, and we're going to see it in Q1 or Q2 of 2026. When capacity tightens, carriers won't panic, they're going to prioritize. They look at who gives them consistent volume, who loads and unloads efficiently, who pays quickly, and who treated them like a partner instead of a commodity. Those shippers get trucks first. Everyone else is going to wait. And here's the key thing manufacturers need to understand. When this market changes, it's not going to change slowly. It's going to be like an on and off switch. We're already seeing early positive signs. Freight rates are stabilizing, some lanes are improving, and demand is starting to come back. It may take a little longer for things to fully turn around, but when they do, will it happen fast. And I'm already seeing it firsthand. We're getting more and more inbound phone calls into this office. Traffic on our website is increasing month over month. Those are usually the earliest indicators, long before it shows up in the industry headlines. Every trucking cycle works the same way. Capacity gets thin quietly, then demands return, and suddenly everyone's fighting over the trucks again. And when that time comes, the manufacturing companies who protected their relationships during the downtime will keep freight moving without disruption. The ones who didn't will be calling carriers that no longer answer the phone. So the real question isn't whether things will change, it's whether you'll be on the short list when they do. Because the carriers you have today are not guaranteed to be there tomorrow, so hold on to those carriers. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in my next video.